Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Julia, I am a tarot coach and this is going to be the usual weekly tarot check-in. I have used the same deck, I have asked the same 3 questions, and the topic is also going to be very similar as last week. You may remember that last week we had this topic of overthinking, being too much in our heads, and how our mind is sometimes abusing us. We are going to have something very similar this week, and I am pretty sure that this is not a coincidence. We are in the middle of a massive transformational process where we really have to rethink things and we have to let go a lot of things so that we can embrace something new. And this is going to be the topic of this week as well. Okay, so the main topic of the week is the reversed death card. You may remember that death is all about change and transformation, and therefore it is one of the most positive cards in the whole tarot deck. The reversed death card tells me that change is hanging in the air. We are on the edge of it. It would like to happen, however, it is still being blocked by something. And what I see here from the Minor Arcana card, which is the 8 of Swords, is that this change is blocked still by our way of thinking. We see here a very limited, restricted situation when we don't really have the space to move. It is about a situation when we kind of feel stuck and we feel restricted in our freedom, thinking that we don't have a choice. It feels like being caught between a rock and a hard place, and thinking that we are the victims of our circumstances. However, this is not the case, because at the end of the day, we are restricted by our very own way of thinking. So what actually blocks us is our own restricted perception of a certain situation. So actually, we are the victims of our own thoughts. We are kind of being in a circle of our own thoughts, and the way out is really removing this blindfold, taking a look at things from a different perspective and seeing that even if you don't like your choices, you always have several choices. You always have the choice, and this way you are always free and you don't have to play the victim, right? So to sum this up, the next week is going to be about change that is already happening, but still is being blocked by our own self-limiting beliefs. And remembering us that at the end of the day, our reality is coming from our thoughts. And this way we have to work on here and here as well. Okay, now let us see what are the risks and potentials. So where do we have to pay attention? And we have here a reversed Emperor. The Emperor is all about power, authority, structure, responsibility, organization, and rules. And as you can see here, we have here a very strong, powerful leader. He is also a kind of father figure, and given that he has come up reversed, we may assume that we are going to have either too little or too much out of this energy the next week. It can go several ways as always. It can be that maybe we are having too much of this, and this means that we are taking too much responsibility. We are taking on too many projects. We would like to handle too many things at one time. And this way we are kind of losing control because it may get too, it can become too much. This is also confirmed by a reversed Nine of Wands, which again tells me that the next week we may find ourselves in a situation when we are really fighting a lot to handle all the setbacks and challenges of life, and we may take on too much projects or something, and this can leave us overwhelmed, thinking that we are the victims of the circumstances. So what I see here is a risk that we are kind of giving away our power by taking too much responsibility, or by getting too rigid in our way of thinking. This is also an interesting aspect of the reversed Emperor. So make sure you pay attention to where you are too rigid. Are you insisting too much on certain kind of truths or ideas? This way losing flexibility and not being able to handle life's challenges or not. It can also be that this way we are actually really losing our power. So the reverse Emperor makes you ask the question, what is your relation to power in general, and what is your relation to your very own personal power? Are you giving it away, thinking that you are a victim, or no? Are you ready to take responsibility for your reality? Or maybe going to the other extreme, are you maybe abusing your power, becoming too rigid in your way of thinking, and maybe also imposing your willpower to others? This can be also the case. And last but not least, we have here some advice from the cards. And I find this advice very interesting because it is very much in sync what we have seen so far. We have here a reversed Hermit. You may remember that the Hermit was the main significator of the last week, and it shows up here again, this time reversed. The Hermit is always, it always invites us to get into isolation, to turn inwards, and to meditate alone in order to seek out the truth of a matter. It reminds us that that the truth is always within. It's not something that you are going to find in the outside world, but this is something that you are going to find within, and that's why it invites us you to go into this self-reflection and create space and time for this process. Yeah, this self-reflection process is not a nice one, because facing your inner feelings and thoughts and ideas may be a very painful process, and that's why we like escaping it. That's why we prefer spending time on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram and the like. However, if we are ready to do this self-reflection work, it can be really fruitful, because it can help you as well to understand what are the inner truths, what you truly deeply think of about certain things, because these truths are what is reflecting in your reality at the end of the day. And this card also invites you to observe where or in what way are you too rigid in your thinking. So what are the ideas that are maybe too rigid, or maybe that are not serving you anymore? And what are the ideas that may be outdated? And yeah, and this idea is also confirmed by the reversed Ten of Coins. The Ten of Coins is normally about wealth, abundance, stable structures. It is also about good investment in heritage, abundance, and the like. And given that it has come up reversed, we may assume that these things are kind of out of balance. And putting these two cards together, I see here an invitation for observing your ideas, your values, your attitudes, your beliefs, and to really challenge them, right? And ask the question, are these things are still serving me, or they are outdated and they have to go? It may be the case that many of them have served you well so far, but they are not serving you anymore, and therefore it may be a good idea to kind of sort them out and to release them, because this is going to be the way of preparing this change and giving room and space for something new to emerge. I know that this is much easier said than done. I know it from myself. I'm in the middle of this process and I know how hard it is. However, it is the first step of creating change, and it is always a good idea to see from time to time what are the things, values, ideas that are not serving you anymore. And these things can be inherited from the parenthood and from early childhood, from your home, or maybe from your father. And again, they may serve you and they may serve you not. This is always your choice. It is always in your power to pick up the ideas, the beliefs, and the values that are really serving you and that really help you to create a reality that is good for you and that you like. Okay, pretty heavy, I know, because change is always very difficult, and life can be also sometimes heavy and difficult. But if you ask me, it is totally fine, because in my opinion, life is not necessarily about being all the time happy and being euphorical, but it is also about growing and learning, and growth and learning are often very painful and difficult. This is the nature of life. Okay, last but not least, let me show you quickly how the whole constellation looks. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up quickly. Again, next week is going to be about change, about the end of a cycle that is very close, but is still being blocked by our very same way of thinking. It is being blocked by our self-limiting beliefs. Therefore, an introspection is going to be needed, and we are invited to challenge our own thinking and to ask the question, where is your own personal power? Are we giving it away? Do we have it in our own hands, having it in balance, or no? I also see here a risk of getting too overwhelmed by life's challenges. Make sure that you are not taking on too much and you don't get into victim thinking, right? You are not the victim, you are the creator of your own life. And in order to realize this and to embrace this, we have here in the invitation from the reversed hermit, it calls us to do some self-reflection work and to take a look at where we are too rigid in our beliefs and in our ideas. So where are we blocking ourselves from this change? And it is also inviting us to challenge our own ideas, values, and every old things that may not serve us anymore. If we are able to sort out the things that are not serving us anymore and release the old stuff, then we are going to be able to make space for change and for something very new to emerge. At the end of the day, it is very promising, I think. I hope that you liked it. In case you did, please don't forget to subscribe, to share, to push the like button. You are also welcome to join my Facebook page. You find the link below. I wish you a wonderful weekend and week ahead. See you next week. Thanks for showing up. Ciao.